It depends if it's garlic crust or a good crust, like a good crust pizza. You want to say some of that? Just be dough and be nothing.
Yeah.
Domino's crust.
The garlic crust.
Yes, Joe's Pizza.
Yeah.
Joe's Pizza collab. Yeah.
Josh, you ready?
Good.
You missed a couple early, looked kind of frustrated. You slammed the ball down a little bit, it looked like. And then what were you telling yourself from there? And then how'd you feel about the way you played the rest of the game?
I don't know if we could say what he was saying to himself out loud.
Yeah, I was just, those first three, they felt good. I was kind of frustrated with it because obviously, I've been putting in the reps with Kajo and, Peter Patton. And, I was frustrated at first. I'm just like, bro, it's not translating right now. And then I know how to just keep shooting. And, if I did that, I'll be good.
Josh, Mike just finished talking about how you remind him a bit of Iggy from his time with the Warriors, and that you're both players that he needs to ignore analytics and numbers with and just let you guys go compete. How does that make you feel? Do you feel like you're like an anti-Matt kind of player? Does that resonate with you?
Iggy was first off was a hell of a player. I don't know if I'm at that level, but I just try to go out there and just play my game. I'm never a huge analytics guy. At a certain point, they're a lamppost or a drunk person. You can lean on them, but it won't get you home. So at a certain point, you got to have a good feel for the game.
Oh my God, bro.
Hit a poetry magazine.
I'm not gonna lie, that was Gerald Wright, his quote, man. So shout out Jay Wright.
Hey,
Wait, hold up. No, we're not moving on from that.
That's a great quote.
Oh my God.
Analytics drunk, lamppost to a drunk person. It ain't gonna get you home.
I was
You can lean on it though.
I was with Cal, so I didn't hear that.
You ain't even go to college.
Is that like your mindset coming in? Like I want to really kind of live my offense.
Just seeing where the game goes. Last game, I felt was a game for us to kind of download a lot of information. And today, I just wanted to be aggressive, like I always say in playmaking. Had some looks at the basket, wanted to be aggressive. Wasn't even about scoring. It was just about, putting pressure on the defense, and just found myself in good positions. Shout out to my teammates and Josh especially.
Josh, Jalen had a playoff career high 14 assists and quite a few of them set up for three-pointers. Just what were you seeing about the adjustments they made on him defensively, and what did it do for him in their offense?
Yeah, obviously he had a huge offensive game, last game, so we knew they were going to come in with a different game plan. But I just think it shows, one, the confidence that he has, in us, and the depth of a team that we have where I don't even know how many points he scored, but we can win a game with him having 10, 11, 12 points, but, having 14 assists, getting guys involved. So I just think it shows the character of the team, character of him, and, I keep saying my fault. But it shows we can win games in different ways.
Do you think the amount of assists he threw you today shows that he actually likes you as a person?
Nah,
Okay.
because he missed me a couple times.
Selfish, bro.
Yeah.
I got one for Cat, one for Josh. Cat, Josh obviously is a guy who plays the game so hard, tends to get frustrated with himself, it seems like. What's it like as a teammate, just trying to know what he brings to the table and not letting him beat himself up too much about whatever may be going on?
He just impacts the game. He impacts winning. You've heard me say that a bunch of times coming into the press conferences after the game and stuff like that. He's the perfect example for any basketball player who wants to learn how to truly impact the winning of a team, and he does that at the highest level. And what he does, not only talent-wise, but mentally for our team, when he goes out there, he's hustling, he's playing that hard, you feel like you got to match his intensity. And because of him, when he goes out there and shows that kind of energy, it brings our whole group up, and it makes us have to feel like we got to meet him where he's at on the court.
Josh, do you feel like you've stayed improved in just staying confident, not letting things linger? Got him over?
Yeah. It's one of those things. One of those things I try to play with more joy, but more grace. I don't really celebrate, when I score or make a good pass and stuff like that, and I kick myself probably a little bit too much when I miss shots or make turnovers, those kind of things. So I think I started to learn to play the game and give myself more grace and not to try to be perfect. I'm happy with that.
Josh, when you're preparing for a game like this, you said it yesterday, you know they're going to leave you open. I mean, what's that look like for you? You said you got extra shots with Peter and Kajot. I mean, is that come with being in practice and just taking more shots? Are you getting to the gym early? What's that look like for you?
Yeah. I don't get to the gym too early. I got kids, you know what I mean? So I try to drop them off at school and get some treatment before I get on the court. But it's just improving, reps and the consistency of those reps. I think for me, it's not like I got to go out there and make 500 threes. Because if I go out and focus on making 500 threes, sometimes the mechanics slip just trying to make shots. So we're doing more so smaller sample sizes of precise details and focusing on the fundamentals of my shot and perfecting that. And I think if I do that, I'll be in a good position. And I think that's mostly what it is. It's just continuing to do that. We had walkthrough today. I got in early, got shots with him. So it's just the consistency and the reps for me.
Here, I wanted to ask you, I know you guys are locked in, but how close from the NBA Finals do you feel right now?
I mean, we don't feel any closer than we did last game or any game. It's back to, in our minds, it's 0-0. We got to win the next game. It's the most important game of the year, and that's how we treat it. We're hungry for the opportunity to go out there and play basketball at the highest level, but we also understand that you can never be satisfied in these positions and in the playoffs. So the mindset's going to continue to be 0-0.
A good game by our guys. Defensively, again, they're 4 all-stars. They're just a tough cover, and then you got the 2 shooters that they have. So we have to keep trying to mix up what we do, and our guys did a pretty good job of trying to pay attention or lock in on the details of the different changes that we were going through on the defense end of the floor. In the first half, the offensive rebounds by them were killing us. They had 9. The second half, we did a better job. We, put bodies on bodies and limited them to 4 offensive rebounds. I don't know what to do about the free throw line. 22-6 in the second half. You got to go back and watch the film. Maybe we're fouling, but it's a pretty big discrepancy for a half when you're talking about 22-6 in free throws. But maybe we were fouling and they weren't fouling. I don't know. But our defense overall, besides those 2 things, first half giving up offensive rebounds, second half sending them to the free throw line, it was pretty good, especially when you have the talent that they have and the all-stars that they have, the great players and the shooting that they have. For us, offensively, we have to keep playing faster. We did a better job of spraying the basketball and taking care of the ball. We had 15 sprays this game compared to 9 sprays in game 1. When we hit that paint, we have to play off of 2 because they do a good job of protecting the paint. Got to get that ball off the glass, play faster. We did a better job playing faster this game. Like I said, the 7 turnovers was pretty good for a game against a team in the playoffs. A lot of guys stepped up. Jalen had a double-double. They're sending double teams at him, and he had 14 assists. Again, he did what he was supposed to do. Cat with a double-double, 18 points on very efficient shooting and 13 rebounds. McHale was huge, 19 points, especially catching the ball in the pocket versus their double teams or their tilts. OG was awesome too. He only had 4 rebounds, but, he guarded Allen most of the game, and, trying to keep Allen off the glass is a load, especially in the second half, and OG did a great job with that, and then he did a great job in the pocket and out on the perimeter when he was open as well, mixing up his attacks and his shooting from the three-point line. And then, Josh, we had 32 assists on 44 buckets. Josh had 7 assists, 1 turnover, in 33-plus minutes. He did a great job on the glass. He was our leading scorer with 26 points. And, obviously, if they continue to leave him open, he's got to continue to let it fly. I think he started out 0 for 3, his first 3 threes, and then he goes 5 for 8 after that. And so we want him to keep shooting it. If his feet are set and Jared Allen wants to play in the paint, shoot it, and we'll figure out the rest of the game after that. But just a well of a game from Josh. One thing we told our team is they're very good at home. They were down, 0-2 against Detroit. And again, Cleveland is well coached. Kenny's an excellent coach, and they have a load of talent on that team. We know those guys are hungry and they don't quit. So we know this game 3 is going to be tough in Cleveland because they're coming.
Mike, you mentioned Josh being the leading scorer and hitting 5 threes. The made threes aside, he seemed like he played with a decisiveness, even when he wasn't shooting, just going into a really quick dribble handoff, decide to drive really quick, attacking Allen when he needed to. Where do you feel like that decisiveness came from for him, and how do you feel like he maintained that throughout the game?
It's just who Josh is. He's a gamer. He knew what he had to do in terms of the adjustments he needed to make in order to be effective, not just for him but for the team. And he was great. He was really decisive. Not only that, he helped us get out in transition, and we have to play fast so we're not going against a set defense all the time. When you get out in transition, if you're a team that cross matches and you get out in transition, it's going to be hard for you to find the right bodies, and that's how we're going to have to play. We're going to have to play fast versus their cross matches to see if we can get something early in transition. But Josh knew what he had to do for the adjustments in this game.
Mike, you've talked during the year about versatility of the way you guys can mount an offense. Jalen today, the career high playoff assists. Just, I guess, what you saw from him being willing to become that distributor tonight.
Well, as an MVP candidate, Jalen Brunson's job is to make the game easier for his teammates, and that's what he did. If you don't send a second guy at him, he's got a pretty good chance of scoring it. If you send a second guy at him, he's going to make the game easier for his teammates. He's going to find them. They just have to step up and make shots. So it starts with Jalen as an MVP candidate, but also it ends with his teammates making shots. Now, that won't be. It can't be done if our spacing is not right. So I give a lot of credit to Chris Gent, our offensive coordinator, and TJ Saint, our assistant offensive coordinator, and continuing to talk to the guys about spacing. And then I give credit to our players